Hi, welcome to the SJ Child Show. So great to have you back. If you are a listener or a viewer, thank you for being here. It's wonderful to come together as community, and I appreciate you coming to listen to my next guest. I'm excited, and I like to say that my Australian friends are my future tellers. They're our friends in the future. So it's wonderful to have you here today, Nadine. Thank you so much, and over all of the time scheduling, all of the fun things we get to do. Finally, we get to make it here to really just have this wonderful conversation. So please introduce yourself. Let us know a little about yourself
Oh, thank you for having me, Sarah. I am Nadine. I am a late diagnosed autistic person. So I was 58 when I was first diagnosed. So that's been a couple of years now. I'm now 60. I'm an Australian poet. I'm based in South Australia. I am a mother of 4 daughters. 2 of those are actually autistic as well. And I'm a radiographer by trade. Recently retired university academic, so I was teaching into medical radiations for the last 12 years.
today.
But now I've gone back to clinical X-ray taking, which is my passion. So that's nice to sort of have a change back to where I basically started. I've just had my first poetry collection released. It was July last year now, so that's been an enjoyable time for me, where a passion of mine as far as writing goes. It's been nice to sort of see that sort of culminate in an actual book. And I've just finished writing my second book, so hopefully that will be out in the market sometime this year. So, and my writing itself, I mainly focus on everyday life. So it's like the trauma in everyday life that we all experience. And obviously it has that sort of arching sort of my neurodivergence sort of there, but not necessarily obvious, I think, because we all have trauma in everyday life to some extent. But my overarching themes that I basically write about branch from sort of love, loss, grief, betrayal, acceptance, perseverance. So these are themes that we all sort of bump and grind against in our lives. And it's just basically, I have relied on writing all my life. I was quite non-verbal when I was young. So for me, it was really difficult to express what I was feeling. And I am very emotive, but like I said, I had difficulty sort of expressing that. So for the first few years of my life, I actually didn't speak at all, and really didn't start speaking until I was at school. And still, I found writing was the way that I could communicate and experience what I was experiencing. But when I put it onto paper, I could look at things objectively and understand where I fit in. And often things that were occurring to me, like the trauma that I was experiencing, it gave me a sense of perspective. And I could say, well, okay, it's not because of who I am. It's just that I'm either reacting to people or people are doing things that I don't like. But it gave me an ability to sort of process what was occurring. So it became therapy for me in a sense. So I always sort of leaned on my writing. And it wasn't that I set out to be a poet. I just developed this sort of skill set the more I practiced it, and eventually did get some formal training as I got older, and found that what I was writing became very poetic. And this is who I am. So, yeah.
Oh, it's so great to have you here. And I love when a guest comes and I can truly say, wow, I resonate with so much of that, because I don't know about I think that I was an over hyperlexic overspeaker when I was younger. I was that kid, only child. And so, maybe that's the case. I don't know. But I also loved words and writing and poetry, and was an early child writer, and writing just really helped me to, wow, now that I see that, also deal with all of those traumas. And I love how you said, everyday traumas, because I don't think that that's something we look at or talk about. We
Mm,
talk about these big traumatic experiences that happen and things, but yes, what about the everyday things that really can add up possibly to a burnout, meltdowns, things that we have to take care of eventually. But I think that that's fascinating. And through writing, it's so nice. There's so many different expressions. And I love that maybe in this generation now, there's so many different ways to form those expressions. You can
mm,
do textual writing through your phone if maybe dyslexic or have a physical difference that you can't physically write. I love that there's different ways to do it, and I always want to express that to my listeners, and that there's not just one way you can write something down or take notes or journal. It's so, you can do it in music, and
yeah.
there's just so many ways. But I also love poetry, and when I sought out writing children's books, it just came out poetically, right? It just came out as a poem, and that was the way it was. So I think that we think a lot alike that way. And yeah, that's really fascinating.
Mm.
Now
And
you
I think I was just
go
sorry. I
ahead.
was just
Oh,
going to
no,
say,
you go ahead. You're great.
I think also if anyone's listening and they're thinking, oh yeah, but I don't write or I don't think that way, that's okay too, because there's other ways to express yourself. And I think sometimes you just need to hear that it's not like you're planning to be a writer or a published writer or a published poet, but you might like painting or getting out your handicrafts, sewing, knitting, crocheting, cooking, or even dabbling in the garden and sort of watching your flowers grow or growing your vegetables. I mean, these are all moments that give you that sort of joy, but the ability to hone in on what gives you peace and comfort and a sense of creativity. And I think those things are really important. So if anyone's listening, you don't have to be this proficient person at something. It's just we all have an ability within ourselves. And it's making that sort of connection and understanding, well, that gives me joy. I can sort of sit quietly with this and express myself. And I think that's really important. And that sort of gives us that ability to grow and sort of to
Yeah.
be settled within ourselves and peaceful. So
Do you think that you've been able to always have peace when you're writing, or is it now something that you can kind of understand that it is just like after you're done, it's like this relief, or
mm,
this expression, or sometimes exhaustion, right?
yeah,
When you have so much in your mind and then you finally
yeah.
get it out.
I
um yeah.
For me, I think it's always been something that I kind of felt kept me sane.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I obviously can recognize that, yes, it is a form of therapy. Yes, it works for me, keeps me peaceful. It gets all my thoughts out of my brain so I have room for other things to get in there, so forth and so forth. But at the time when I was young and experiencing things, I just felt like I had no one to actually express myself to. And I probably did have people, but I felt like I didn't. And I think that was an important sort of difference for me. And so writing or just the ability to get words out on a page made all the difference for me. And like English is not my first language, so I had that difficulty as well. And I am dyslexic as well. So again, I had that difficulty and that challenge of reading. But I always found when it came to reading poetry, it was still challenging, but it was easier in a sense because it was so compact and the essence of what the author was trying to say was there. And I didn't have to wade through all these extra words. I could sort of just get straight to that emotion and reflect that. And I think that was a connection that I probably made quite early at a subconscious level. And obviously now when I'm older, I can just do it for various reasons, like I'm either working something through in my head or I've happened to hear a lovely conversation someone might be having, or there's interesting words that I might have heard or read. And so I'll jot these down in a journal. And then later when I want to sit down and actually put something together, I've got journals and journals that I can draw on material and write things down. And I think the nice thing about documenting one's life is that, like I mentioned, it helps you process things, but I think it also gives you that sense of, basically lost my train of thought here now, sorry.
Tracking your life. Yeah,
Yeah,
writing.
it's
Tracking.
like, I think it gives you that sense of appreciation too. I mean, yeah, we've all had bad things happen to us, but you need the bad things to be able to appreciate the good things, because if we're always surrounded by beauty, you just take it for granted. And I think it's just part of life. Yeah, we don't like it when things happen to us, but it is something that we all must live with at some point. And it's how you sort of process that and get through that sort of makes the difference. And I think that's where my resilience as a person has flourished, because I've had that ability to sort of document things to help me process that. And that's obviously my neurodivergence. It's also needed that sort of ability to sort of get those emotions out of my head, but also to then go, well, that was a really good moment in my life. And when I was in this bad moment, I recognized that. And then I sort of made that decision to move through it. And I think it's that moving through that builds their resilience for us all. And yes, we can feel sad in the moment, we can be angry in the moment, we can process what's going on or seek forgiveness or want to give forgiveness or whatever. But we don't have to stay in that moment. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't recognise, that when they are going through awful things, it's just a brief portion of our life. And I think it's important to realise that there is light at the end of the tunnel most of the time, and it's that ability to sort of get through it. But, sometimes things feel like they're always coming back to kick us up the butt. But I think it's the ability to recognise that tomorrow is a new day. We can start afresh. We have the ability to not empower people to hurt us. We have the ability to move through that. And I think for me, the writing aspect has helped solidify that knowledge that this is just momentary. I will get through it. And for me, it's always been about being present in the now, but mindful to keep moving, keep pushing forward. And I think that often helps us in the bad times.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
definitely. What does, and feel free to share or say, no, I'm not going to do that. But excuse me, what does your relationship now that you have a late diagnosis, maybe with any of your children, does that look like different or supportive? And how do you feel that changed any relationships?
It was really interesting because, like I said, I was 58 when I was first diagnosed, but it actually came about. I have 4 adult children now, and it was my youngest who basically around the same time. So it's only been a few years. She's now 20, going to be 21 this year. So she was just finishing off her last years of high school and basically said, Mum, I think I'm autistic, because she had made a few friends that were autistic, and they were saying, you're like us, and all this sort of stuff. And so she basically did some deep diving, did some research, realised that she was ticking all the boxes as far as the sort of the symptoms, and basically broached it with us and said, this is what I need to be diagnosed. And because she was she just missed that sort of public system in Australia, the ability to be publicly diagnosed. We had to actually do it privately. So it cost a bit of money, but it was money well spent, because it did come up with a diagnosis for her. And then while we were in the interviews, we were sitting there for like 3 hours while she was being diagnosed. I'm sitting there going, that's me. It's like, I do that. And I thought, hang on, I think I'm autistic. And so then I booked in and had the official diagnosis done as well. And then my eldest daughter, I'm thinking, oh, look, we've just had all this done. I think you need to go get diagnosed. And so it was like bang, 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 bang. And then my now husband, he also got diagnosed, and it turns out we're all autistic.
Yeah.
So it was like that wow moment. It doesn't change anything, but it sort of gave us this sense of peace and understanding, and we suddenly realized that we had formed this little, marrying with my second husband, I had realized I'd formed this little unit of, what's the word I'm trying to say? Comfort. It was my safe place. So home, my youngest still lives with us, so it's just the three of us now. But we're this little unit that when we all come home, we all know we have slightly different things that we need to do to decompress. But we're also understanding. We understand that that's your thing, that's my thing, that's their thing, and it's just this lovely place to come home at the end of the day and sit quietly with each other, or watch TV, or chat about the day. But we have this better understanding, and we accommodate accordingly. And it's such a difference. It really does. And even for my eldest daughter, now that she knows that where she fits in that sort of spectrum, it's given her a sense of calm and peace as well. And all the sisters now understand why we do things we do. And I think it is helpful. It is. And like I said, it doesn't really change anything. We still are who we are, but it gives us that sort of understanding of where we fit in and why we think the way we do. And so I can really only speak for myself, but why I don't have the energy levels that I see other people seem to have, or why I don't understand some things, or I miss those social cues, or when someone says something, I'm taking them at face value, or I'm literally taking them word for word when they're meaning something else. And it's like, that can be, as you can appreciate, so confusing when you're sort of trying to fit in and you don't, and you don't, but you don't know why.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time trying to sort of mask and have that appearance of, yeah, I'm fine, I can fit in, but you don't. And I think that formal diagnosis made the difference for all of us. So, and I think there's a lot of people out there who are not formally diagnosed, but have a good sense of that they're on the spectrum. So I think the more we talk about it and the more it becomes less stigmatized, the better it is, because it's real. It's a very real thing, and it's out there, and there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
But it gives me the sense of community now, and I don't feel like I'm antisocial if I don't want to go out to an event. I just know it's me, and I need my self times, otherwise I'm just going to melt down. And I have that understanding now of why I do the things I do. So, yeah, it was really good. So, like I said, was very late in our lives, well, for me and for my husband. For my eldest daughter, a later diagnosis, but for my younger one, I think she had a better opportunity to now assimilate into society, knowing where she fits in. She's very, what's the word, confident in her abilities now. She sort of still has like speech pathology sort of sessions and things like that to help her with her social interactions. But that's building a very confident young lady now, which is great to see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm very much, let's talk about it. You know?
Oh, no, that's exactly what we need to be doing. And so much of your story, our family is also all diagnosed, and support we can give one another, the accommodations, the sleep pattern, who cares? Nobody bats an eye or whatever. It's just so nice because it is different, and it is something that maybe we were raised to see that, may not have been right, or a wrong way to live, or whatever that may be. That's not the case. Like, we are in this opportunity era experience of doing things our own way and doing things that feel right to us and work right for our families. And you should be doing what's right for your families. And no matter what that looks like, that's not up for others to have opinions or ideas about. So of course, if you're looking for support and resources, that's different than and getting advice. But if people are just giving you opinions, advice, things like that, that's not for them to have. That's not for you to take from them. Like, don't listen to that stuff. Like, it's in your own experience. And it's been so unique to have knowing kind of the boundaries that maybe need to be set now around things that I once considered weaknesses or things like that, where now I can, like you said, maybe give myself more grace around these areas, sensitivities, things like that. Not always take what maybe my parents said to me, like, oh, you're just too dramatic or too sensitive, when I was little, things like that, to heart anymore, and recognize, yes, I'm much, much, much sensitive. And that's okay. That's okay, right? It's
okay,
like,
yeah,
that's who I
that's
am
who
and
you are. And I
in this
think that's
world.
the thing. It's not only accepting who we are within ourselves, but it's the ability to accept people at face value too, and not project what we want them to be, or have this sort of need for someone to be something that they're not. I think we need to recognize that when that person says that that's what they're actually saying. And I think that's a skill set that a lot of us probably don't pick up until we're much older in life. But I think if we can start like explaining those sort of types of actions to our children as they grow up, they hopefully won't have the same issues that we might have experienced. But, it's all part and parcel of living and experiencing life and working out how to sort of navigate those things. But if you have those little sort of flags or signposts or little instructions along the way, it makes life a little bit easier. But it's a challenge. It's always going to be a challenge. But, yeah. No,
Absolutely. Do you are your books on Amazon?
Oh,
Where can
yeah.
people find your stuff?
Yeah, so the grey between is the one I'll just show you.
Oh, thank you.
Here we go. I don't know if you
I
can see
love that.
that. That is available globally on Amazon. So I have an author's site. which is www.nadineellis.com. So NADINEELLIS.com. So you can learn more about myself and the actual grey between. There's some poems on there from the book. There's sort of more things about the story behind it on my website, and also I have a Instagram site as well, which is at Nadine Ellis Poetry. So that's all one word. So a lot of newer work is on my Instagram. But yeah, so Amazon globally is quite accessible as far as purchasing the book, or it can be purchased directly from my publisher, which is the Hill of Content Publishing as well.
I got an extra E instead of an L. Okay, that looks right. Maybe. Nadine. Nope.
Yes.
Still.
At Nadine Ellis Poetry. Yeah, double L. So, hang on.
I think I get a little bit.
L. Oh, yeah, okay.
Put some extra letters in there, but yeah, you'll know how to find her. Nadine Ellis Poetry. You got this. Let's not bring my dyslexia into this game. No, just joking.
I can put it into the chat. Let me put it into the chat.
That's great. I love it. And we'll definitely make sure to have it in the show notes so that everybody can go and this is going to be coming out quite soon. So please definitely go and support Nadine and follow her on her Instagram and go and get the poetry. What other types of things can we find on your website?
Okay. Well, there's some, the poems on there. I've got quite a few of my podcast interviews. They're on there as well.
Oh, great.
So that I'm talking about my life experiences, either as a writer or as a neurodivergent person or someone who's experienced marriage breakdowns or motherhood, those sort of things. So that's across the board there. Also, I think I've spoken about bullying, being bullied when I was young. So there's lots of interesting things to sort of listen to on that. Like I said, there's a lot of backstory about myself, and there are also some poems where I'm actually reading them as well. So it's a good site. Go visit it. Buy the book, support me.
You have to do that. I agree.
Yeah. Would you like me to read a poem?
Yeah. Oh, would you? That would be so cool. Please.
Yeah, I'll make one.
Thank you.
So this is called Caustic Comments. So this is from the book. Back when I wandered concrete corridors of green youth, I was stabbed in the butt with a protractor. Who does that? I asked myself, even now. Mean girls grow to be mean women, I still tell myself about that episode so long ago. It was a lifetime past. Back then, my teacher, to my face, acid etched, "You'll never amount to anything." At 14, dripping her acrid words, thinking, why would Mrs. Orsini say that? I asked myself, even now. My flesh still scarred with her pungent laser cuts and mordant attitudes. And all this sulphurous mud before I even knew what neurospicy was and is, but now I do. And once he called me a silver-tongued snake. But what did he mean? I considered in shame. Only later I understood. He was projecting. That was when I couldn't do what he demanded. My belly already with child, replicating him and my autism. Looking back now, I comprehend. My firstborn carries my spiced defiance, and I understand one must wade the quagmire depths, weighted by tasks that grind us down, to emerge regenerated, phoenix-shaped by caustic malevolence, soaring above.
Ah, I have chills. I'm just like all over right now. That was so incredible and like, wow. I could just feel all of it. So that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And
my pleasure.
wow, I feel speechless.
Do you want one on motherhood?
Oh, sure.
Okay. This one's called Solitary Confinement. Faced with the outside, I choose the innerness of folding calico and flannel. Watch with intrigue as minute death floats past my eyes. Clouded in life, each speck of slough skin witness to countless touches or brush asides. Each tiny DNA robbed of breath, drowned among the soapsuds, like children they will not become. And those children will not hold me dear, wrap their juicy flesh around my neck, smell like the sun smacked against the towels that flap in the breeze, or whisper orange or frangipani in my ear. Their breath, my breath. I fold this sweetness over and over into neat squares and place the toweling onto pine shelves, ready for the day that the children do not need my laundry.
Oh my gosh. These are so incredible. I love the way you write. I love the how I can just visualize all of it and kind of feel all of it. So, this is fantastic and I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
my
you so
pleasure.
much.
Thanks for letting me read.
Yes, oh my gosh. NadineEllis.com. Please go and pick up the book. Watch for a new book that's coming. And also follow her on Instagram, Nadine Ellis Poetry. Thank you so much for your time and for just being here with us and sharing not only your story and your, I'd love to have you back on to, maybe discuss just more like things that you experienced as a child and how those things, now kind of are autistic, if you will, and things like that. Because I think that that's such eye-opening and revelative experience and things for people to learn and to be able to draw from. So thank you. I am just honor your time and to blessed to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much.
It was such a great conversation. So I look forward to staying in touch.